What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so as you can see on the screen here, we have a ton of new uniforms to look at. Yeah, I think I'm going to do more than one uniform per video, or else I'm going to be having a lot of videos up. There are only 10 unique uniforms, or 10 different characters getting uniforms, so I don't have to do every single uniform here. But anyway, let's just hop in first with Ant-Man here. So we have Ant-Man in his two kind of new uniforms here. We have the team suit and his Endgame uniform. And they're not much different, or the uniforms aren't much different than the Ant-Man and the Wasp uniform, and that's probably why it is discounted even further down to 750 crystals. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the uniform here. So our uniform bonus is going to be increase attack by 15%, gives him guard break immunity, it enhances the skill elusive hero, and also enhances the skill Ant endurance. So if we take a look here, compared to his Ant-Man and Wasp uniform, he's getting an extra 10% all attack on this uniform, and then plus the 2 passive changes to his tier 2 passive and his 4-star passive. Right here, his tier 2 passive, the only change to this is going to be that increase to skill damage and bonus damage, so he's getting a little extra damage there, 10% to each, so not bad. And they did, for some reason, change the wording of the activation rate. It says when using the frenzy buff. I'm not really sure what the difference is. It seems like it still activates when he miniaturizes. So apparently when he miniaturizes, it's now called frenzy or something like that. Or they maybe changed it because of his Ant Endurance 4-star passive here. As you can see, it does not miniaturize him anymore, which is kind of weird, where it did before. But when I was in the skill preview, it still activated when I just did like normal attacks and the Ant Endurance triggered. So it looks like his tier 2 passive still activates in the same way, even though the wording has changed. So yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Anyway, the change to his 4-star passive here is going to be an extra 5% to all attack. The all speed is the same, and then that crit rate is new, so he does get an extra 5% crit rate, and also the remove incapacitation is new as well. So a little bit better there in terms of the damage. And then let's see here for this skill here, the 20% chance to miss is still the same. That's the same. Right here, I think that's exactly the same as well, and same there. But then we get down to the 5th skill here, which is a little bit different than his Ant-Man and the Wasp uniform, because it does give a decrease to all defense, which is nice, except that it does not apply to World Boss Ultimate, or I'm pretty sure it does not apply to World Boss Ultimate. Of course, I don't have the uniform, so I haven't tested it myself, but that's just what I'm assuming based on kind of how Ant-Man plays right now, because tier 3 Ant-Man has all defense down on his tier 3 skill, and that does not apply to World Boss Ultimate, so I don't think any of Ant-Man's all defense down will apply to World Boss Ultimate. If I'm wrong, that may make this uniform a little bit more valuable, but anyway, as of right now, I don't think it does. And then we have the increase damage for one attack by 100%, which is also really nice because that'll help out his damage. So overall, this new Endgame uniform is better than his Ant-Man and the Wasp uniform. So if you don't have the Ant-Man and the Wasp uniform, then this one for 750 crystals is definitely worth picking up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then this uniform here is going to be exactly the same as his Endgame uniform, so just pick whichever style you prefer. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick one of these up right now. I'm going to wait until I buy all of the other uniforms I want first, see if I have any crystals left over. But since I have the Ant-Man and the Wasp uniform and they look exactly the same, I'm probably going to pick up the team suit if I do pick up one of these uniforms. But yeah, we haven't done the skill preview yet, so let's go ahead and hop into that and see what these skills look like. Pretty much only the 5th skill, I think, was changed. Yeah, that looks the same. See, his passive activated right there just using the first skill. So his tier 2 passive still seems to activate the exact same way. Yeah, so all of his skills look exactly the same, except for the 5th skill here, which he jumps on the big toy train there and just starts chugging along. So yeah, I really like that. So it actually might be a little bit better for like World Boss Ultimate and things like that, because you don't have the summon with the ant, which can then be used as a targeting icon for the world boss. So it's definitely helpful there, so you don't have to worry with that summon allowing the enemy to target it so they can jump into an iframe or things like that. So that is nice. So overall, I do like this uniform. better than all of his others, but since I already have the Ant-Man and Wasp, like I said, I'm going to wait to pick this particular one up. So now let's go ahead and hop out and let's take a look at one more uniform in this video before we end this one, because I still want to make these relatively short, and I just talked quite a while about Ant-Man. So next on the list here is Black Widow. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So here we have Black Widow's Endgame uniform. I definitely like the look of this uniform. It looks really nice, and I'm happy that they put her back to being a redhead. I didn't really like the blonde look here for Natasha. So yeah, and the team suit, I mean, it looks okay, but I like this one better. So if I'm going to be buying one, it's going to be the Endgame for me. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the uniform bonus. So the uniform bonus is going to give her a crit damage increase by 15%, a crit rate increase by 15%, and it's going to enhance the effects of skill Graceful Dancer. And compared to her Infinity War uniform, as you can see, you're now getting those effects as just a kind of base buff. You don't have to do anything to make them activate, whereas with the old uniform you have to dodge an attack for it to activate, and then it activates for only half of the time because that's good for 10 seconds on a 20-second cooldown, whereas right now you're just going to always have it active. It is a little bit less, only 5% less, because on an old uniform it's 20% for both of those, but the fact that you're going to have this up all the time is definitely going to make her damage a little more consistent. And then for the skill changes, I think they're pretty much all the same except for the except for the fourth skill here, giving her that 2 seconds of immunity, which is quite low, only 2 seconds. But yeah, the fourth skill is different, and then the fifth skill looks the same as well. So let's hop into the skill preview and see what any of these skills look like in terms of animation, see if anything has changed, because I think only 2 of them have changed. So here we have the first skill is exactly the same, second skill exactly the same, third skill exactly the same, and then the fourth skill I believe is changed. Yeah, here we go. So the fourth skill is changed. It is only 2 seconds immunity, so I think this immunity doesn't start until after she... Looks like it gives you a little more than 2 seconds almost. But yeah, the immunity doesn't seem like it's going to last the entire skill duration. It's kind of ending right when she's pushing them back a little bit with her shock right there. Yeah, so overall, I mean, it's nice because you get the 2 seconds immunity, which is more than with her previous uniform where she was not protected at all because it was not an iframe on her previous uniform, so it was still really unsafe, whereas this one, at least you have that protection at the startup of the skill. And then the fifth skill here has changed a little bit as well. You get a lot more AoE and just hits, so it's a wider AoE and more hits. So overall, I do like the endgame uniform here for Black Widow, and since I like the look more, I will be picking this one up. So this is going to be one of the uniforms that I am going to be getting out of the new ones, along with a few others, of course. So this is one that I will be getting, so there we go. Welcome aboard, Black Widow Endgame Edition. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video, just those 2 uniforms. So the next video will be the next 2 uniforms on the list, and so on and so forth. So hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.